94.5.
So one radio today decided to travel all the way to France. That's how they called it, right? They called it France. France. Like that's what they said. I called it France in praise of someone some day ago, and he scolded me and said it's not France. It's France.
Yes, it's
right.
France.
It's France, right?
France?
I was like, okay.
Interesting.
And I took correction.
You stood corrected.
All right, pretty interesting, guys. We have a guest in the studio who's going to talk to us about French. We know French is the one of the most accepted international language around the world.
Yeah.
You know, one wonders, as a young Igbo boy, grew up here in Nigeria, I'd wish to hear Igbo spoken, you know, around the world. One wonders why, you know, Igbo is not that outspoken, just like French is accepted around the world. Of course, English, Spanish, and all of those things that's cut across. But today we just have a bit of a pinch into the French language. Let's welcome into the studio our guest.
All right, we've been joined by Nnamdi Agoha. He's the CEO of EPIS and Tech Academy in association with ACFN France. ACFN France is a French Nigeria Cultural Association. You're welcome to this program.
Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup. All right, tell us what makes French really unique.
French is a very unique language in the sense that, first of all, it's called a romantic language.
Yes.
Language of romance.
I've heard it before.
That means you can talk to a lady in 1 million ways, you see.
Alright.
Unlike in English. English is a very direct language. You know, I love you. In French, you say, je t'aime.
Je t'aime.
Je t'adore.
Je t'adore.
Je voudrais. You have 1 million ways of, you know, telling a girl you like her, and that's one thing that is very unique in French. It's a very romantic language. That's aside. It's also called a diplomatic language, a language of negotiation. That is, you can make peace with French. See, like in English as well. English is not; it's too direct. It's a direct language. That's why English people are very, very direct. Unlike the French, they prefer negotiating. So if you learn French, you will learn to negotiate very well.
Wow!
It will help you in business. You see.
Wow.
And even your relationship.
Oh, okay, yeah, just in one, you see. Just starting with one. There are too many other things added onto it.
All right.
Yes.
You've embarked on this course of teaching Nigerians how to speak French.
Yes, that's something I intend to do, and I want to do it because I've spent about 20-25 years in France, and out of
France, right?
in France, and out of those 25 years, I've spent about 15 teaching French people. I teach in French secondary schools, and I teach them English. Incidentally, I teach French people English in France, and so that has given me a kind of an insight to why when I see my students struggle to speak English, you know, and I begin to ask myself, why is it so? Why do they find it difficult to speak English? And because of the system, the educational system in France. And it's almost the same everywhere, where you learn languages through the books. And I have discovered over time that you cannot, or you should not, or you must not learn a language only with books. Languages are learned through the ears and not through the eyes. So the school prepares students just to learn how to read and write and not communicate, which is not what essentially language is all about. Language is all about communicating. In fact, the word communicate or communication comes from Latin, which is called communicare, meaning to draw out, to bring out the best in somebody. And so, how can you bring out the best in somebody if you don't teach him how to do it? So the schools do not prepare you to speak. They prepare you to read and write. And that is the gap I want to fill.
Well, pretty interesting. I mean, something you just said that struck me. You don't start learning mother tongue from books, from being taught.
Yes.
You're just learning from
listening.
Just listening.
Listening to your parents. Nobody ever learned his or her mother tongue from the books. Yeah, I'm sure my mom did not tell me, come, let's speak Igbo today. We're going to learn simple present in Igbo. She didn't do that. And so I learned to speak Igbo just listening to her. And so why should I learn a foreign language differently? Do you see that? So the schools, it's not their fault, because the schools are there to test your level in the language. And for them to test you, you have to read and write. That's it. That's the reason. And so that's the problem, where students spend 10, 15 years learning a language, and they come out, they know how to write, they can write pages, but they will find it difficult to make 10 sentences or 10 correct sentences.
All right. So, speaking of French now, why do you think most Nigerians may be interested in learning French?
I think Nigeria should be first, or we should, or they must learn to speak French. One, because we are surrounded by Francophone countries. So if you step out of this country, you are meeting a French-speaking person. And so for you to be able to communicate with that person would understand you much better if you speak French to him than him speaking English to you. You see, the communication or negotiation is much better in French than in English. I mean, this is a practical experience. Let me give you one. Before the Iraqi war, and the Americans the French were telling the Americans, let's negotiate. After a while, George Bush was tired of negotiating. He just started bombing Iraq. Okay, that's an example. And he called Jacques Chirac, which was the president of France at that time. Listen, Iraq is being bombed already. Okay, I am tired of negotiating. So English language is not a language of negotiation, but French, yes. And that's why they always want to negotiate. That's it. It's a language of diplomacy. English is not. Because I'm talking from experience, because I studied English and French, so I know the intricacies of the language and the advantages and disadvantages of both.
All right. So what are you bringing to the people of ENUGU State, and of course the Saudis as the case may be? What exactly are you bringing forth in terms of being disposed to learning French?
And what I'm bringing to the table, because now I've exposed the problem, and the thing I am bringing to the table is that the lack, that loophole in the system, whereby I went to the University of Lagos State University, and I met a lady who is doing her master's degree in French, and I said, comment ça va? And when I said something else, she said, "Du comprends pas, excusez-moi, I don't understand." I was wondering, how can somebody get a master's degree and cannot keep talking for 2 minutes? It was very strange for me. You understand? So that's the kind of thing I want to fill that gap of communicating. Right.
And how can you communicate effectively in French while you are not surrounded by people that speak French? So it's difficult because you're surrounded with English-speaking people. So it's difficult to learn French.
I agree.
Because je parle français un peu.
Ah oui, c'est bien ça. Alors, on peut continuer en français alors. On peut continuer en français.
So how do I cope? For example.
By example, now, what I want to bring to the table is, first of all, I know this is an English-speaking country, and so it is very difficult to see somebody who speaks French to you every morning. It's very difficult. But there are two things you must do. First, listening. I told you, you learn a language through your ears and not through your eyes. So you must listen. You must listen to radio stations.
In French.
Television stations. Don't understand what they are saying completely, but just listen. The sound alone.
True.
The sound alone. Because as children, we learn through the sound.
How about music?
Okay, that's a sound. Okay. Music music.
Could be French songs.
It could be French songs.
In fact,
I have some.
Very good.
There's a song that's even ruling the Billboard 100 that is not English language.
Not at all.
You know, music is universal
It's
language.
a universal language. So, and then sound is just the real thing. So you listen to sounds, French sounds, either through the radio or internet. You can get French music or French radio stations or TV stations. You can watch them. And so that's one area you have to. And then secondly, when you come to our training program, because the idea is to provide a platform where people can come and practice. I'm not coming to teach you ABCD in French.
Okay.
I'm bringing a platform where people can come and practice speaking French. So the idea is to introduce French through theater. Acting, yes. Oui, vraiment. Parce qu'en fait, l'idée c'est d'apprendre la langue française en jouant. Jouer avec la langue française.
Parlez-moi anglais. S'il vous plaît.
Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Sounds like silver plate.
S'il vous plaît, non, silver plate. Charlie Chaplin.
All right, so he spoke about bridging the gap, in communication, especially as it concerns French. So we're going to be introducing a special kind of program on Urban Radio come Sunday 7:30 p.m. It's going to be all about learning French. Right, so if you are interested in learning French, this is an opportunity for you to not just listen to the sound. All right, you can visit them at their office. You could even call them and ask certain questions as it concerns, French. It's sexy. It's a language for negotiation. It's a diplomatic language. And in fact, it's a language you could use to woo a woman.
Well,
if you want to.
Women fall first in French.
So, just in case you want to communicate in French with him live on air, you could do that by calling into the station and asking one or two questions as it concerns this particular thing. And your course for the people of ENUGU starts in October.
Right.
Now talk to us about what exactly we will be learning, because you say you are not going to go by the books, like what the usual school teaches, the ABC, so what exactly would this course with you be like?
So the idea is, not doing like everybody, because I know that it doesn't work. It doesn't work unless you want to pass exam. If you want to take an exam and pass and get a certificate in French, this is not the course for you, because that's not. Well, I'm only interested in you speaking. If you want to communicate, if you have studied French before and you cannot speak effectively or communicate effectively, this program is for you, because we will make you open your mouth to speak. And one of the ways we use is through theater. We make you to act.
Okay, drama.
We use drama techniques. We use drama techniques. This is something no school does. No school gives you that drama technique method. We have this method. I've been using it in France to teach my French students to speak English. And that system is adaptable, and we can adapt it here. And we're going to adapt it here. And so that's one method we use. We do also use intensive listening. We know programs and educative programs that you can listen to, and as soon as you listen to them, it will open your ears, and then you hear the sound. Because to communicate, you must understand the sound. If you don't understand the sound, you will never speak it. So you need to understand the sound of the language you're listening to or you want to speak in order to communicate effectively. So you go through sound and through plays.
All right.
Interesting. And I want to add, for inquiries, you want to make inquiries, you go to Magnus Media Limited, number 26 First Avenue off Damija Road, Transekulu, Enugu, or call this number for more inquiries, 08032 684423. Repeat, 08032684423.
You can also add this number, 081-0476-1930.
Okay, you can say that again.
080
So it's 081.
081-0476-1930, sir.
All right, now you can call in live and communicate. Just in case you are one or two or three out there who's very interested in learning French. And by the way, this is more like a language you could just learn just to add to your vocabs. You know, just in case you come across something like it maybe later. You know, go to Cameroon, go to...
Yeah, you want to do business elsewhere.
So it's an opportunity for you to
need to learn to communicate in French.
All right, 08093999945. That is 08093999945. You could also call 08099945945. That is 08099945945. This is the Urban Drive Time radio show on 94.5. Let's see who we have here.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, bonsoir.
Oh my God, it's been long I heard that. What is the code school? Did you teach us French? I know bonsoir is good evening, good night, bonjour, good day.
Right.
Oui.
That's nice.
So are you interested in learning French?
You actually selecting how to speak French, but I'm really interested. I would love to, refresh my memory a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you would stay tuned for Urban Radio every single Sunday from 7:30?
Of course, I will not miss it for anything.
Wow, interesting.
Ça c'est bien ça, madame. Bonsoir.
But not please speak to me now. I think I'm so busy.
That's not started. I just said
Good evening. I didn't add any other thing.
No, like you made it so long. Was that just good evening?
Yeah, so I hope you've put down the number.
I did, but I think if you start learning French, you speak very fast, because when that young French Igbo boy was saying the numbers, it was so fast, I didn't get it.
French is a fast language.
Yes,
No, it's not a fast language. You don't listen very fast.
All right then. Thank you so much for calling.
Okay.
This is what people tell me.
Okay, just before that, let's take this call.
Follow your radio set, please. Move away from your radio set.
Hello.
Hello. It's still recording.
So sorry.
We're going to call us back. This one is bad, baritone.
Good evening.
Hello.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir, comment ça va?
Ça va bien. Et vous-même?
Je vais bien.
Bien, super alors.
Je ne comprends pas.
Je ne comprends pas.
Pourquoi vous ne comprenez pas? Why don't you understand?
Tu dis quoi?
Répétez.
Hello?
Oh my God.
All right.
Still call us up.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, sure, thank you. Good evening. Good evening to your guest.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
I'm Kingsley from Manila.
Okay, Kingsley, welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate your song this evening. Honestly, it's very nice. Very nice. I'm so happy with it. Personally, I would love to go in line with that.
Okay.
Yeah. But I would like to drop a little contribution towards what you say.
Yes.
Yeah, you made mention of saying that English is not a language of negotiation.
Unlike French.
Yeah, but I didn't agree with that.
Come on, man.
Comparison.
You're dealing with the linguist, okay?
I disagree. As a linguist, I studied that, of course. It's a language of bilateral trade and so on. All of that. Yeah.
Anyway, it's all about perception.
Hello?
It's all about perception.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Kingsley.
Kingsley, thank you so much. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. I like the program by the French. I like to speak that French.
Why?
What's the name first?
Okay. Why would you love to learn French?
I like the language, but I need to speak it.
Everybody's problem. That is everybody's problem.
That is the problem.
I know. You're not only one.
Now I get the one right. I speak that bunch of.
That's very good.
Bonsoir did that.
Bonsoir is good evening.
Yes.
Okay.
When you talk
It's fun.
Okay.
French is fun in Nigeria.
All right then.
I need that man to teach us the way we can speak in it. That is what I need.
Okay then. No problem. Just keep listening. Hello.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. What's the name and where you're calling from?
My name is James. I'm calling from ENUGU.
All right.
I was thinking a while ago and I heard about learning French. I love French actually, but I don't know how to learn that very cool. So I want to know, like, the money aspect of it. Is there any kind of money someone can pay? If there is, like, I can make a lay down to us, maybe you can understand. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Yes, we understand you clearly.
Yeah.
All right then.
That's what I want to know.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you for asking your questions.
Yes, there's certainly money involved. I wouldn't tell you it will cost you this much at the moment. You call. By the time you call, we'll tell you tell us exactly what you need. We'll know your level. Because
Okay.
I like
Is
to
that
make it clear.
everybody's level?
Yes, because we cannot take everybody and put them in one basket. Some people have studied before, some people have not studied before. Some people have studied for 6 months or 5 years or 10 years. So, it depends on the level of the person. And then we will give you the prices depending on the level you are.
Okay.
Yes.
So, can we get the office and the number if they need to contact you?
Yes, it is Magnus Media Limited. It is 26 First Avenue off Damija Road, Trasekulu, ENUGU. The phone number is 08032684423.
That's quite fast.
Fast indeed.
Encore.
Confirm. 08032684423. That's another number I have. It is 081-0476-1930.
All right, Learning French will be debuting on Oran Radio this Sunday, 7:30 p.m. And of course, in there you would find other informative stuff for you, as in case you want to learn French and, in fact, expand your horizon when it comes to speaking French. The office again is Magnus Media Limited, number 26. First Avenue off Damija Road, Transekulu, ENUGU. The phone number to call to make further inquiries on how you can learn French, or rather 003 268 4423. That is 0803 268